Coming up on Speedway Line Report Radio, presented to you by Shaler Acura, Manchester, Connecticut. Tonight, joining me and my co-host, Ricky Rotondo, we'll speak with SK Modified driver Matt Vassar, who drives the number 11 at Stafford Motor Speedway. He finished second Friday night in the Volante Modified Racing Series. Woody Pitkat. We'll talk to him about that and more on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. And we'll be taking your phone calls at 203-757-1320. We stream live at WATR.com. And to hear our show in the rebroadcast, you can now go to SidsView.com. You can also check us out on the TuneIn Radio app and on the Simple Radio app. Today is Monday, May 21st, 2018, and Speedway Line Report Radio is headed your way right now.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
The green flag is in the air, and it's time for the Speedway Line Report, presented by Shaler Acura of Manchester, broadcasting from our WATR studios in Waterbury, Connecticut, and streaming live around the world. Now, here's your host.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. Gary Danko here in our Waterbury studio at WATR 1320, right alongside my co-host, Rocket Rick Rotondo. Speedway Line Report Radio is also being brought to you by JM Montesano Auto Body, Sign Pro, Jim's Lawn Care Service, Levine Auto and Truck Parts, Prestige Body Works, and Grotto Restaurant. Just a reminder, there will be no show next Monday night. No show next Monday night. Of course, it's Memorial Day, so there will be no show next Monday night. We'll be with you the following Monday for a brand new Speedway Line Report radio show. Ricky, how are you?
Doing well, Gary. Doing well.
How about Keith Rocco over at Stafford Motor Speedway in their premier division, the SK Modifieds? Another victory for him and his team. Congratulations going out to Keith and everybody involved with his race team. But that team has just got everything going on right now.
Yeah, I don't know how many more times I'm going to be able to say congratulations and not be bleeding out of my lip.
Right. Yeah, strong run for Keith and his race team. And
they're the best at the track right now. I mean, they started off hot, and we're behind them. We're close, but we're not quite there. But I don't know. I think tires are going to be playing a bit of a game in the next month or two.
Now, explain that for what you mean by that.
Well, there's a tire rule.
Right.
You're allowed to buy 10 at the beginning of the year, and then 2 every race you start. And that's how it goes through the whole year. And, I mean, if it's a 100-lapper, they'll let you buy, like, 1 extra tire or something like that. But so this is where you got to play the game. Like, some guys won't put on a lot of tire for the nights that the MRS is there. But I think the 2 people in front of us put on 1 more tire than we did because they didn't fall off, and we fell off.
Yeah. And
but it's just one of them things. You're playing the game. It's a tire game. It's unfortunate you got to play the tire game. I'd rather play the setup game.
Right.
You set up your car better than me, then you're better than me. If we're relying on who got put on tires tonight and who didn't put on tires tonight, I don't like that.
And, looking at the rundown in the SK Modified Division from Friday night, as we mentioned, Keith Rocco in for the win. Good, strong run for Joey Cipriano. And, of course, Eric Burt, the team that you work with, third-place finish. Then it was Ronnie Williams and Michael Jarvis Jr. to round out your top 5. We're going to be talking to the driver that finished 21st on Friday night. Matt Vassar out of Plantsville, Connecticut. We'll talk to him about how things have been going for him in the SK Modified division over at Stafford Motor Speedway in the early part of this 2018 season. Once again, congratulations to all the other drivers that sat in victory lane Friday night over at Stafford Motor Speedway. Rowan Pennick won the Volante Modified Racing Series event on Friday night. And we're going to talk to Woody Pitkat, who finished second in that event. We'll talk to him about that. We'll also talk to him about all of his other racing endeavors that he's got going on in 2018. All that on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura, Manchester, Connecticut. If you want to talk auto racing with us, 203-757-1320. When we come back, our first guest of the evening, Matt Vassar, he'll be set and ready to go.
There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com. In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Opinions expressed on the Speedway Line Report do not necessarily reflect those of WATR management and staff, or the management and staff of the SpeedwayLineReport.com or VintageModifieds.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. We're also streaming online at WATR.com. And, of course, now you can go to SidsView.com to hear our show in a rebroadcast. It will probably take about a day, so don't look for it tonight. It will probably be up sometime tomorrow. We appreciate everything that Sid DiMaggio is doing for us here on Speedway Line Report Radio. As I mentioned, Tom Ormsby, who's done it for many years, not able to do it anymore, and we appreciate everything that Tom has done for us over the years here on Speedway Line Report Radio. Our first guest of the evening is all set and ready to go. He's running in the SK Modified division over at Stafford Motor Speedway on Friday nights in 2018. He's driving the number 11 car. Matt Vassar now joins us. Matt, good evening. How are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Glad to have you on the show. This is your first time ever on Speedway Line Report Radio, and glad you could be a part of the show tonight. Let's talk about how things have been going for you so far in 2018 in the SK Modified division at Stafford Motor Speedway.
It's been learning. That's how it's been going for us. In survival. I've never raced a modified or anything with big tires like this, so this has been definitely a different adjustment for me. I'm used to little tires and slide them around. Even some of the stuff I drove down, south is a little different. Mm-hmm. But these cars are amazing, and they are a lot of fun. But they have a lot of side bite, and getting used to doing, driving it, and what I need for setup, and what the car, what I need the car to do has definitely been learning. Our season's been, kind of up and down. I had a decent week at the Sizzler, and the second week we struggled a little bit, and then the week after that we were all right, and then last week we missed it big time. So hopefully this week is better.
Yeah, the Stafford, it could be a little bit tough. It's one of them things when you're not as in the points where you'd like to be and things like that. It makes it very hard for you to go, race there, because you wrestle with the same people every week, and you're just waiting for a little bit of a break for yourself to get a good starting position and then be in the right lane a couple times for the restarts and go like that before you can, that's when you can start finishing the races and then, getting better from there.
Right. And learning all these guys. I mean, everybody drives differently. Everybody from the 88 drives to the way the 17 drives to the 66. Everybody drives differently. Some are drive over their head. Some are very, very respectful out there, and some are clean. Some deliberately drive into the side of you. It's definitely different learning how everybody drives out there and getting used to and racing the same way they race you.
And Matt, for the people that aren't familiar with it, you said you used to drive down south. Give us a little bit of a background of how it all got started for you in auto racing. Well,
my dad, who many a times raced up here in New England, most of him know him, Larry Vassar.
Oh yes.
Drove everything from street stocks to Bush North cars. And my first race was actually in the late model. I didn't even have to drive a street car yet. And he's like, "You want to race?" And I'm like, "Well, of course." Being around it as a kid all the time, I always wanted to race. So at 16, put me in the late model. Didn't even know how to drive a stick. Had the super clutch at that time, and said, "Here you go race." And had to learn how that night. Raced 3 races up here in the late model. And then I took some time off to go work on, Winston Cup cars and Busch cars down south, and Hooters Pro Cup cars, and had some success as a crew guy. And around 2007, I wanted to start racing again. So, we got a little sportsman car. We messed around at Linear, National Speedway in Georgia, which is no longer, unfortunately. And then we started racing trucks a little bit here and there, and raced all over the Southeast, everywhere from, Pensacola, Florida, to Mobile, Alabama, and the home track we used to race at was Gresham Motorsports Park, which I enjoyed a lot of success there. Just raced many different tracks, really helped out a lot, for what I'm doing now from what I did down south.
Yeah, did you find any of the tracks that you ever drove at to be something like Stafford?
No, because most of the places down there are high banked and really fast. I used to run, for an example, the trucks I used to run down there. We used to use a 602 crane motor. You can do a little bit more than they can do up here with them. And we used to run our half mile as banked. We used to run, about with the SK cars when they were really moving around Stafford, same half mile, and that's with an 8-inch tire and not nearly the motor. Most of the places I raced at were banked. The flat track like Stafford really threw me for a loop a little bit last year. Getting used to doing that with all my, banked success. I think if I went to Thompson, I'd be right at home, but, still learning.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes Stafford a tough track, because it is definitely one of the flatter tracks that you would race on. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to take anything away from the old timers there with the Plainville, because if I'm not mistaken, I heard one of them corners was banked the other way. So... But yeah, Stafford's definitely one of the flatter tracks that you'd race at nowadays.
It is, and what the only thing I will say Stafford has that no other track probably has that I've been to as a driver, as a spectator, everything is the talent level of drivers. I mean, there are some amazing talents that race at Stafford in many of the different divisions. I mean, you see. I mean, we got Keith. He's winning everything right now. He's the national champion. But there's a lot of guys that are really close to him, and there's even guys that are off his pace right now. And and SKs are concerned, are still a really, really good drivers and just haven't hit on their setups just like we haven't.
Yeah, no question about it. Definitely, we talked about it a little bit earlier about the talent in the Premier Division at Stafford Motor Speedway, the SK Modifieds, and you run down the list of those. You got some great competitors, no question about it. Matt Vassar's on the line with us. He drives for John Hummel in the SK Modified Division. He drives car number 11. Tell us about how you were able to get involved with John Hummel and be the driver of that number 11 car for 2018, Matt.
Well, I'm going to say it's pretty quick, but the way it worked is I know John is his previous driver, who I'm good friends with Tony Membrino Jr. They separated at the end of the year. Don't know why. I'm not going to speculate why. But I was at the Waterbury Speedway for the end of the year race, helping my buddy Jason Palmer. And I walked up to Eddie Flumpke, who I'm good friends with. He's done favors for me, and I've helped him out before in the past. I asked him who's driving the 11 car. And he goes, well, nobody have yet. Why don't you submit your resume and get in touch with John? And that's what I did, and we started talking. And I don't know who else was a candidate for or went after the ride, but he eventually asked me if I'd be willing to drive the Humble Brothers hot dog number 11, and of course, I'm not going to say no to that.
Exactly.
It's an amazing opportunity, and it's a dream to be where I'm at right now, and I'm having fun every week, even though we don't have the finishes that I want, but that'll come.
Right. It's work in progress. You're with a good race team, and you still got a long season to go over at Stafford Motor Speedway. Matt Vassar's on the line with us. Matt, you finished 21st on Friday night. Take us through your night.
Well, being on our show is a little different rubber. We come up with a plan, as a team, because that's what our team does. There's not one chief. We do it as a group. We too run one practice, and we were on older tires because we play the tire game just like everybody else does. And this week was we can not put any on tires. We were going to put one right front on, but the stupid driver ex-nayed that, and we just went with old tires. I ran one practice. It felt pretty decent. It was a little bit on the slippery side because it was old rubber and getting used to the that Toro rubber there. And I thought, if we tighten it up, for the feature, it would be a little bit because the track has a tendency to get freer as the night goes on. And, we did adjustment as a team, tighten it up, and it just wasn't enough. I couldn't get off the corner. I was too loose. And, I started fourth, which is great. But, I backed up that topside line because I just couldn't get to the throttle. Every time I tried to do it, it tried to spin out and, just ripped the right rear off of it. And, I just soldiered on, and that's the best we could get. We tried to tighten it up during the pit stop and close up stagger, and it just wouldn't. We couldn't get it to tighten up enough, and I just struggled to get off the corner all night. And we salvaged the 21st. I mean, it's not great, but the car will still be able to put on a trailer in one piece, and we've been able to say that every week, which not a lot of guys have.
Yeah, I mean, we had to barely put it in the trailer one week this year, but it's like you're saying with the tire game, it's tough. I still don't understand why they let them change the tires just a little bit. Go 2.3, 2.3 the whole year.
Right.
That would make such a huge difference, and you'd have better racing.
Right, or you can do like the tour car. Some of the tour teams do. Like I think MRS, you buy 4 tires and you have to run the same ones you're going to run all night. I think I could be wrong. But you buy 4 tires. You have to buy 4 tires, and you run them the whole night. So if you want to. I know not everybody has the budgets like the team that I have, that I'm with, and some of the other teams out there to throw 4 tires at it every week. So I know that's why they do what they do. But it would be easier if you could put 4 tires on it every week. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but I mean, if they have 18 weeks, so I'm saying you add 9 tires to the entire schedule.
Right.
It's not a real lot. It's not killing anybody because you're already buying 2 a week plus the initial 10.
Yep.
So, I mean, you're already into it for 50 tires.
Right.
So, right. I'm just saying, if they just did that, an extra tire every other week, I think that would make for better racing because it becomes a tire game at this point. Just like, Friday night you played the big tire game, which we've done before also. The tour guys are there, no tires tonight. And that way there, along the way, you get to have your 3 tires or 4 tires, to help you out during that one day there. And hopefully none of the other guys did the same thing that you just did.
Right. And, you can look at it many different ways. I mean, I agree with you, but I'm not the one that makes those decisions. So
make the decision. Make it.
That's up to the fine folks at Stafford to do a wonderful job. I think Tom and all the guys there. But it's a tough one. I think it's like they was told to me a long time ago when I moved back up here and got used to learning about how they do the tire inventory and stuff like that. Because it is something that is unique to up here. That was to save guys money and not give advantage to guys that have a lot of money. So I understand. I can respect that decision and why they do what they do. And I've been on both sides of the coin. Right now I'm on a team that has a pretty good budget. It's not a huge budget, but it's not a small budget either. And we can we're given everything we need to succeed. But some guys just don't have that. And I'm not going to name names, but there's a few out there, and guys know who they are.
Matt, who would you say you can lean on, whether it's somebody in the SK Modifieds or maybe in one of the other divisions, that has helped you out so far in 2018 when you go to ask for some type of advice, whether it's drive-in or setup? Who's been the person that's really helped you?
Well, Ed Flemke Jr. I mean, we run one of his Raceworks chassis. We got the updated clip, which we're learning, how to get that where it needs to be on top of me learning. But he's been huge as far as, with setup. And John McKennedy. The setup we put in the car, it was a collaboration between myself, John, and Eddie to come up with this setup. And it's pretty decent. And we, the 00 SK, had it. It was his first week out this week, and he drove from last all the way up to 12th before getting caught up in somebody else's mess there. So, I mean, it is a pretty good setup, and we're all working together as a team of Raceworks cars. But Ed Flemke Jr. is the man I lean on most, as far as on the driver's side of it. He's, taught me some things already as far as driving it on the nose when it's, chassis doing something, even just with the way you got to work and clean these tires. I've never drove tires over this, sticky and modified tires.
Mm-hmm.
They're totally different from anything else. He's educated me on those immensely, and I'm still learning.
We're talking with Matt Vassar. You're listening to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. We're also streaming online at WATR.com, and this show you'll be able to get it in a rebroadcast tomorrow going to SidsView.com. Woody Pitkat will be coming up a little bit later on. Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut. Matt Vassar on the line with us. Matt, we know that Friday nights is your home in 2018 in the SK Modified division. Any other plans to run at any other racetracks?
We're looking at some things at the end of the year. Still want to focus on, with the Modified as far as focus on just Stafford right now, but maybe venture out at the end of the year. That's all up to see how much racing my car owner John wants to do. Me, I'll race everything, even my kids with a set of matchboxes on the carpet, just because I love racing so much. But I have the late model myself. We're talking, if I can get all my work done on a Modified this week, might pull that out of the box and run that this Friday as well and do double duty, and then put it back away for a few more weeks and take it out here and there. But that's all I have planned for right now. But I'd race anything anybody gives me a chance to. I just love racing that much.
It's Stafford this year. What's your best finish there so far?
This year, I think 7th. We finished 9th at the Sizzler, but because a couple guys had a little light on weight, that bumped us up 2 spots. But that's our best run so far this year.
Where are you in the points right now?
I think somewhere in the teens. I haven't looked to update it this week, but if I had to guess, I think I'm probably around 13th or 14th, somewhere around there.
But that's a big difference.
It is. We're chasing Rookie of the Year, and so far this is the first week that we've weren't the highest finishing rookie, and hope to rectify that come Friday.
Yeah, if you're 13th, 14th in the points, you'd be starting up front again. If you pending you qualify in the heat race. So that makes a big difference, and if you throw a few tires on your car, you could definitely do something this week.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we got a plan to do something here, and we should be a lot better. I have a feeling, breaking down what the car's been telling me, as far as handling characteristics and stuff like that, and like you say, playing time. We should be good. Everybody in the division has a lot of work to do to catch the 66 and 88. By far, I believe those are the fastest cars, but we're gaining on them. I have confidence because I got a great group of guys that work on my car and help me out, and with Eddie's help and John and everything they give us, I think we have a good shot to have a good run Friday and these upcoming weeks. Just keep working on it. That's all we do. The old rule of thumb. If you want to win, you got to work hard, and if you want to keep winning, you got to work harder. And that's what we're trying to do, is work hard right now, so we can work even harder and keep on winning.
One of the best lines that somebody ever told me, he goes, I said, yeah, you just need a little bit of luck. He goes, I just want to tell you something that somebody told me. The harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
It's exactly what it is.
A couple more minutes with Matt Vassar, who drives the number 11 SK Modified over at Stafford Motor Speedway on Friday nights. Matt, you said a little bit earlier that Eddie Flemke Jr. has been a big help to you. Is he on the radio with you during the race? Is he spotting for you? Is he communicating with you during the event?
He is. He is my spotter. We started the year to have him as the spotter, so he can educate me and as far as driving different things and making adjustments during the race. He's at the track helping all his customers,
Sure.
all the racing cars that we have during practice and stuff like that. But he's up there helping me out during the heat races and features, at least for the foreseeable future.
Okay. Hey, man, I want to thank you for being a part of Speedway Line Report Radio. Wanted to get you on and talk about how things have been going in your 2018 season so far in the SK Modified Division at Stafford Motor Speedway. Keep up the good work, you and your race team, and I'm sure you're going to be knocking off some top 10s, top 5s here, and we may see that 11 car in Victory Lane before the end of the 2018 season.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you for the opportunity. And we're going to keep working hard so we can get there, and that's all we can do.
Okay. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Matt Vassar joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. Speedway Line Report Radio being brought to you by Prestige Body Works, whether it's foreign, domestic, exotic. If it's collision and refinishing, it's Prestige Body Works. See Carl or Brett. They're located at 3 Colonial Road in Canton. You can email them at prestigebodyworks@comcast.net. Once again, if you're in an auto accident and you live out in and around the Canton area, and if it's foreign, domestic, exotic, collision refinishing is what they do. So stop by Prestige Body Works. See Carl or Brett, 3 Colonial Road in Canton. You can give them a call at 860-693-1350 for Prestige Body Works. We'll take a commercial break, and when we come back, Ricky and I will talk a little bit, and then we'll get set for Woody Pitkat. We'll talk to him about his second-place finish in the Valente Modified Racing Series this past Friday night at Stafford Motor Speedway. That and much more on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio.
In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com. There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility, or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. We're also streaming online at WATR.com. You can hear our show in a rebroadcast tomorrow on SidsView.com. I'm Gary Danko. My co-host is Rocket Rick Rotondo. We just heard from Matt Vassar, who runs in the Premier Division. It's Stafford Motor Speedway in the SK Modified Division. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to talk to Woody Pitkat. We'll find out how things are going so far for him in the 2018 season. Speedway Line Report Radio also being brought to you by Jim's Lawn Care Service out of Cheshire. When it's maintenance and lawn care, it's Jim's Lawn Service out of Cheshire. Give them a call today at 203-272-2054 for Jim's Lawn Service, maintenance and lawn care, Jim's Lawn Service out of Cheshire, Connecticut. Well, the next time, Ricky, the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour, they'll be racing. Will be at the Seekonk Speedway coming up on June 2nd, and then they'll be going back to Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park on June 13th. I believe, Steve, we have a call on line 1. Good evening. You're on Speedway Line Report Radio.
Gary, Tom Hill.
Hey, Tom.
Well, you haven't lived till you've seen a modified race wheeling at the Thompson Motor Speedway.
This is true. Thompson Speedway, I mean, provides great action. No matter if it's an open wheel modified or some of the other divisions that race at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park.
I saw Maynard Troyer run there, and I just want to say to all his fans, sorry to see him go. He was a legend.
He certainly was. Certainly, not only was he a good race car driver, but, of course, building race cars. And, of course, the name Troyer will live on for a long, long time in modified racing. No question about that, Tom. How's everything else with you?
Very good. Coming into my 8th season at Lime Rock, and we raced the Pirelli World Challenge from Friday all the way through Monday, and Monday racing's back at Lime Rock. And thank you for letting me say that real quick.
Okay, not a problem. Have a great weekend up there, and we'll talk soon.
And if you want to go, just give me a holler.
I certainly will. Tom, thank you for the phone call.
Thank you.
All right, Tom Hill joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. In just a couple of minutes, we'll talk to Woody Pitkat. Ricky, of course, a lot going on. The Super Modifieds were scheduled to be at the Monadnock Speedway this past weekend. Of course, Mother Nature was not kind to a lot of short tracks, not only everywhere. A lot of cancellations, but they will be back toward the end of June at the Monadnock Speedway. Make sure you check out their website and find out all the ifs, ands, and buts of when the Super Modifieds will be back at the Monadnock Speedway.
Yeah, Mother Nature's back at it again this year. I remember, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, Stafford went the whole month of May without racing.
Right. And then I believe the year before that, I think they...
Zero
rainouts.
Until all the way at the end, it was like the last Friday night. They didn't even have to call it. It was or second to last or something.
Yeah.
They could have got it in, and I think they know they could have got it in, but they canceled it. They said, we'll give everybody a break.
All right. We'll take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Woody Pitkat. We're going to get his take on his second place finish Friday night at Stafford Motor Speedway in the Volante Modified Racing Series. That was the race that Rowan Pennick took down the checkered flag. We'll get Woody's thoughts on that and much more when we return.
There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com. In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. We are also online at WATR.com, and you can hear this show in a rebroadcast beginning tomorrow at SidsView.com. I'm Gary Danko. My co-host is Rocket Rick Rotondo from R&R Fabrication. We heard from Matt Vassar, who runs in the SK Modified Division over at Stafford Motor Speedway on Friday nights. Our next guest is all set and ready to go. No stranger to Speedway Line Report Radio. Woody Pitkat now joins us. Woody, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing okay. So far, I mean, great day. How's everything going for you in auto racing, whether it's Stafford Motor Speedway, whether it's on the Volante Modified Racing Series, or on the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour?
Yeah, it hasn't been going too bad. I guess I can't really complain. Obviously, on the tour side, I wish we were doing a little bit better. We started out of the gates not really good. Travel all the way down to Myrtle Beach and had a steering issue.
during the race, so we never really even got to race that race, really. That was about 17 laps of the race. And then we came back, and we were okay at Thompson. You know, we finished, I think, like 12th or something. It wasn't terrible, but it was one of those days where you pretty much hit everything but the pace car. And then Stafford, I thought we had it pretty good. You know, we were there running, you know, right around top 5 with about, you know, 100 laps to go, still trying to figure out pit strategy and stuff like that, and ended up getting spun around and back into the fence. So it's definitely hasn't been going as planned on that side. But everything else, I guess I can't really complain. Obviously, I haven't been racing at Thompson. We got rained out yesterday, so we've only ran one race up there with the SK and the late model. And the Valente side's been pretty good. You know, the last 2 races we came out with our new Troyer chassis, and I think it's really picked up our whole program. We ended up 4th at Waterford, and then obviously 2nd at Stafford. And I think we were, you know, definitely in contention to probably win both of them. So we're, you know, still trying to work the bugs out with that car and figure out a little bit on what we need to do to make it live for the whole race. But besides that, it's been pretty good.
Is that the Troyer TA1 car?
I guess I would say it's not even a TA1. It's an older version. I want to say it's like a 2013. It's kind of, you know, the same thing that I had when I used to drive for the 88 guys a couple years back on the tour. Really, the only difference is between this car and the TA1 is I believe that, you know, the cage is not forward, or the engine's not forward, and it's, you know, the roof part of it or the roll cage that would be above your head is not as low. I think that's what they did with the TA1. So it's still the, you know, the high cage and what the heck is that tubing that they use? I think on the TA1s they use different tubing. You probably know if it's
ODM. It's a overdrawn mandrel.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, the mandrel. So besides that, I mean, you know, I guess you could say it's kind of like a TA1. It's just a, you know, regular Troyer torque arm car.
Yeah, because Eric got one of those TA1s for this year here, and it definitely woke up the whole program.
Yeah, I mean, you could see that, you know, with Adam there when Chase got in the car last year too. He got the TA1, and it definitely it woke the thing up. And I've been, you know, I've been waiting to come out with the thing. We were waiting for some parts and waiting for the engine to get done at the start of the year for the Valente series. So we started with our, you know, normal Spaffle car that we still have, that we're going to use on the Tri-Track series. And, you know, we had a couple good runs with that. But for some reason, it's just the Troyer car seems like it's just a little bit more consistent. And, you know, when you make adjustments, it seems like you don't have to make as many to feel under the seat. So I'm pretty excited, you know, with that car to see what comes up. Where obviously we had a good run at Stafford, so we'll be going back there for one of the open races in June. And then we'll be getting ready to go up to Loudon for that short track showdown race at the end of the month in June.
Woody, of course, Rowan Pennick picked up the victory on Friday night in the Valente Modified Racing Series. You were right behind him. So take us through your night, where you started, and talk about what it was like coming home in second.
Yeah, I ended up, we missed it a little bit in the heat race. So we finished further back in the heat than I really wanted to. So we ended up starting 10th in the race, which wasn't terrible. So I'm the type of guy that like to be, you know, somewhere in the top 5 and kind of just set my own pace and ride for those types of races. So I tried to kind of get to the front as quick as I could. And, you know, the guy underneath me didn't go, so I tried to get down and fill in the hole and got into turn 1 a little hot and got in the back of Gallop and then kind of jacked up the whole field to let him straighten out and get going. And that could have ruined our night right there. I probably got a little over-anxious there and bent the wheel, and from there on, I had a big wobbler and was praying that the tire wasn't going to pop off the rim. So then I just kind of followed him up through and got to like 4th and just rode for most of the race, you know, just kind of trying to do a little tire management. And then, you know, Keith come up through, and we had a pretty good time going back and forth on some of the restarts. I would restart second. He was 3rd, so I'd get by him for second, and then, you know, he'd pass me back. So, I don't know, right around, I think, 27 or 28 laps to go, you know, my spotter came over the radio and said, you know, Roland's up to 6th. You know, he's coming. So if you got anything, if it stays green, you know, you might want to try to get away so he can't catch you. So I'm like, all right. So I, you know, picked up the pace and tried to check out as much as I could without, you know, burning the thing up and still having a little bit at the end. And I thought we were going to be in good shape. You know, I had a 3-second lead with like 10 laps to go. And unfortunately, some lap traffic didn't want to get out of the way. They were kind of having their own race, I guess. So that 3 seconds went to about a second in like a matter of a half a straightaway. And then we had a unfortunate caution with like 8 laps to go that we didn't need to have. So after that, you know, I told those guys I knew it was going to be a dogfight because I know Rowan's been fast. I mean, those guys have been, you know, on top of their game everywhere they've gone right when they unload. So I knew it was going to be a dogfight, and you know, I tried to do the best I could with what I had. At the end, I was getting a little bit free in, so I couldn't really drive the thing into the corner as hard as I wanted to. And you know, Rowan was a little bit better there at the end because he had he was on a little bit different of a strategy and rode around, you know, the majority of the race, and the cautions fell really for him when they needed to. So, you know, like I said, hats off to those guys. They've been on top of their game, and they've been together for a long time. We've only had this car, you know, 2 races. We got to just keep working on it to get it better. So hopefully we can be, you know, the ones in victory lane, and they can be finishing second or third.
Yeah, and it was a good car count for the Volante Modified Racing Series Friday night.
Yeah, they've had some good car counts all year. To be honest with you, I know probably some of it's got a little bit to do with that, you know, modified touring series that they had last year. With them not being around this year, you know, it took some cars from there to the MRS. But it's a good little series. I like running it. I like, you know, the tracks that they go to. They have good tracks. Obviously, Stafford Thompson is, you know, pretty much my home tracks. Going to Waterford, I've had some success there, so I like going there. And then, you know, adding Loudon last year was huge. I think that's, you know, everybody pencils that one in. So, and then you know, you go out on the main for a couple of them, and then you come back towards the end of the year, you know, to like a Lee, a place that has no grip, that is another place that's tire management and pitch strategy and stuff like that. So it's a pretty cool little series. Jack's done a good job, and it's been around for a long time.
Yeah. You know, you talked about the Tri-Track Open Modified Series, their first race coming up this weekend, May 26th at Claremont Speedway. You'll be heading there.
Yeah, yep, that's correct. I'll be going there with, you know, like I said before, with the same team that I drive for on the Volante Series, you know, Danny Stebbins and Craig Sessions and those guys, just with a different car. It's, you know, Stafco chassis. Actually, Steve Greer still owns the car, and it lets us, you know, use the car and maintain it and stuff. So it's still a cool little deal there, because I've had a long-lasting relationship with Steve, and he's a great guy, the Gunsmoke stable. So that's a cool deal there, and you know, we're hopefully going to go up there. We've ran well. It's been probably 4 years now. We actually ran that car up there in a Volante Modified Racing Series race, and we had a really good car and ended up breaking an axle and went a couple laps down and came back out, and you know, had a really good car. So I'm looking forward to going up there. You know, somebody's going to go up there and beat Matt Hirschman, because lately it's been more of the Matt Hirschman series,
exactly.
Tri-Track series. So hopefully, if somebody can do that, hopefully it'll be us.
Yeah, it's Stafford. Are you going to be getting in an SK this year, you think?
I don't know. There ain't nothing really set in stone right now. I'd like to, you know, to possibly do the SK 5K race, but just, you know, with the kids and stuff, you know, Eric, you could, obviously you're with him all the time, so he could tell you, just with the kids growing up, and now we actually closed on a house, so we're going to be moving probably the end of June, so that's going to take up a majority of the summer. So I don't know if I'm going to have an opportunity to get down there, but, you know, I'd love to do it if the opportunity was there and I could find something. I'd love to at least do that SK 5K race, because I think that's, you know, a race where you can, you know, the handicap doesn't kill you a whole bunch, because it's a longer distance race, and obviously you have to start in the back and qualify. But that'd be, you know, one of the races I'd like to go to.
The next stop for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour will come up on June 2nd at Seekonk Speedway. Your thoughts on Seekonk, Woody?
I don't know. It's another one of those different short tracks that you go to that you're probably, you know, not looking at it as like, oh, a place that you love to go to. But I feel like that's another place where I've been pretty successful the last few years, you know, with the MRS, with an SK. When they had an SK race there, I ran pretty good. You know, and then I finished second and third there on a couple of tri-tracks Series races that were there. So it's definitely weird. It's kind of a, you got to slow down to go faster. You're never going, there's no straightaway, so it always feels like you're always turning. And I've had some good mentors with Wayne Darlin, being right around the corner, helping me on the radio there and help me with my line and stuff. So I think if we have a good car, I think that, we could be in contention for a good run. That's what those guys need. I mean, they've been working hard since, the winter, and every time we, try to come home with something where we can just, okay, we're in one piece and let's make it better for the next race. We're like digging ourselves out of a hole because we're replacing something or fixing something. Like I said, at Stafford, at the Sizzler, I thought we were going to come out of there with a good finish in the top 5 somewhere in Tech and be able to build a little bit of momentum and carry that on, and then you got to go and replace the whole rear clip of the car. So I'm hoping that we can go to Seekonk and, and have a good run and come out of there hopefully in the top 5 and build a little bit of momentum and carry that through the summer with the tour.
Sure. We're talking about the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour heading to Seekonk Speedway June 2nd. Then they'll roll back into Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park June 13th. Then June 23rd, Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia. Has that place was it kind to you last year?
No, I guess it wasn't terrible, but I got into the fence early. Another case of where I was trying too hard too early. I started on the outside and was trying to get a couple positions to get in line and kind of cruise, and I got in the fence on the back straightaway. I had the same thing like I had at Stafford. I had a front wobbler there for a while, and we pitted to fix the toe and try to change the wheel and stuff like that. But that was a cool little track. I liked that place. It was pretty smooth. It was small. The corners were kind of wide. That place I'm actually looking forward to go back to because I think it'll be cool now that we've been there once. And I, kind of figured it out a little bit. So that'll be fun, but it'll be definitely hectic because that's the weekend of that short track showdown at not Thompson, up at Loudon.
Oh, but Loudon, right.
So they have a practice that Saturday, like a full day at Loudon, the day that we'll be at Langley, which I think I'm going to try to get Ronnie Silk just to take my car out for practice if those guys are going up there. And then we'll have to try to just rush up through. I think the easiest thing is to drive because looking at flights and stuff is just pretty pricey, and just want to be able to get back there for the practice on Sunday morning. So it'll be pretty much race Saturday night, and then obviously if we do good, we'll have to take care of the media stuff and then get out of there as quick as we can and head up to Loudon.
Yeah, it's tough, to try to do the flight thing and stuff with Loudon, and we've always driven, and we just have made it all the time, to the track and stuff. But, I mean, you just got to drive a little fast, and you're all set.
Yeah, well, we'll have a couple with us, so a couple relief drivers, so I think we'll be all right. But I'd like to be able to get there, Sunday. I think Sunday morning is practice at 9:30, so I'd like to be able to get there to at least, just shake it down quick. But I guess I have enough seat. Everybody says I have enough seat time there, and I had some good runs and wins up there, so I don't really need much seat time. But it'd just be nice to get out there and shake it down and know what you have for the day.
Okay. Yeah, and when you're driving back and forth, just remember, who's ever driving, they're only allowed one ticket, and then you have to switch up the drivers.
All right, that's good to know.
Well, Woody, thanks for being a part of Speedway Line Report Radio. Always great having you on. Great job Friday night in the Valente Modified Racing Series, coming home with a second-place finish. And I know there's victories right around the corner for you, whether it's on the Valente or on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour or even over at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. So thank you as always, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
You're
welcome.
Well, you're welcome. Woody Pitkat joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut. We'll be back right after this.
In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com. There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM, also streaming online at WATR.com. You'll be able to hear this show in a rebroadcast starting tomorrow at sidsview.com. I'm Gary Danko, my co-host Rocky Rick Rotondo. We heard from Matt Vassar. We heard from Woody Pitkat. Reminder, no show next Monday night. No show next Monday night. Speedway Line Report Radio is also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body Works, specialist in auto collision. All work guaranteed, 390 Lombard Street in New Haven. Give them a call, 203-865-1389 for J.M. Montesano Auto Body Works. Once again, they are a specialist in auto collision. All of their work is guaranteed. 390 Lombard Street, New Haven. Their number, 203-865-1389. Tell John Montesano you heard his name right here on Speedway Line Report Radio. A couple minutes left here on Speedway Line Report Radio. And, of course, this Friday night, Stafford Motor Speedway back in action with, of course, their premier division. Plus the impressive purse for the SK Light Modifieds this Friday night for the Dunleavy's Modifieds Night and Fireworks, 40 laps for the SK Lights. Ricky.
Well, that's going to be good for the SK Lights. I mean, that's like, I think that for this Friday it's supposed to be sunny, so that'll be good.
Yeah, it's 40 laps for SK Lights, and of course they'll also they have a lot other things going on Friday night over at Stafford Motor Speedway as well with great fireworks displays. They always have. So check out all the action over at Stafford Motor Speedway this coming Friday night. A couple minutes left with you here on Speedway Line Report Radio. There was a report, David Gravel. Could we see him possibly getting racing in NASCAR, or getting a shot at least to drive in NASCAR? There's been a report out on that, so we'll have to stay tuned for that. Of course, David Gravel out of Connecticut with 36 career wins on the World of Outlaw Tour. So he's looking for opportunities. So hopefully we'll have to stay tuned for that. David Gravel certainly can get the job done. We know that he's done well. Anything he's ever driven, from quarter midgets all the way up, anything he's been in, he's done well in. So we'll keep our eye on that. Just a reminder, once again, no show next Monday night. We'll be with you the following Monday night. Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut, and also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body, Sign Pro, Jim's Lawn Care Service, Levine Auto and Truck Parts, Prestige Body Works, and Grotto Restaurant. So, Ricky, what do you got planned for this Memorial Day weekend?
Work. I could catch up on work a little bit.
There you go. Okay. And you're busy over at R&R Fabrication?
Yeah, I just... we got a bunch of stuff. I got cars I still got to get to the racetrack, and bodies I still got to do, and it's crazy right now.
Okay. Big thank you to our guests tonight, Matt Vassar, Woody Pitkat, for Steve Noxon, for Sid DiMaggio, my co-host Rocket Rick Rotondo. I'm Gary Danko. We'll look forward to talking to you next Monday, in 2 weeks here on Speedway Line Report Radio. Good night, everyone.
The preceding has been a GMD production. Don't forget to listen to Gary next Monday night for more auto racing news on the Speedway Line Report. And in case you didn't catch the entire program tonight, check the archive shows at SpeedwayLineReport.com.
This is 1320 AM WATR Waterbury.